Hey, welcome to our broadcast today of Business, Money, and Christianity, a financial podcast from a faith perspective. I hope you have been enjoying our teachings over the last few weeks, where I have been ministering along the lines of the establishment of life. It's from a ministry session I did within a church. But today I want to kind of bring it back into where I'm talking to you today. But one of the premises that I talked about was believing God's word more than our circumstance. But let me take it out of the Christian section for a moment and say believing what we're doing more than what we're looking at. So in our lives as business owners, as salesmen, as however we're putting our life together and gaining our money, my question today is, do you believe in what you're doing? And I say that from a context, not just that, okay, this is a good product, I can sell it, but do you really believe it? Because in what you're selling, your belief system is going to come through it. Now, while we can fake it, um, I faked it for a long time. I went to college in business management. When I got out, I got a job in the financial sector, and I was selling very high interest rate loans. Now, it's my heart's desire and kind of the function of my life to help people. And while I got a job that paid well, I was doing things that I knew that were not helpful, because I knew a person coming to me and obtaining a loan, they could go down to the street to the local credit union and get it for 10%, 12% cheaper. Um, there was no reason for the person to come to me. And I wanted, I mean, I couldn't have retained my job, but I wanted to tell them, don't you know you can go down to that credit union, that bank, or that place over there, and their rates are far less than what my rates are. But obviously, I didn't present it that way. But I had to put on a front, and I would go home at night, and I wasn't satisfied in what I was doing because I really didn't believe in what I was doing. I remember this one family we actually put together, even though they could have gotten it, well, they might not have gotten it someplace else, because the way I had to put it together to make it work um, was kind of, we took a loan against the house, we took the title to the cars, and we had to make it. But we knocked their payments down quite a bit where they could survive. And then, unfortunately, one of them, just shortly, like within weeks, 3 or 4 weeks before the first payment was due, was diagnosed with cancer and wasn't able to work. And it just went downhill from there. I called him up one day when I was at home for lunch, and I said, let me give you some instructions on what to do. If you'll do it, you can prolong this and we can work and get it out. And I told them, but they went to a bankruptcy attorney who was only interested in filing, getting the fee for them to file the bankruptcy. Told them to do something different. And we took everything they owned because the attorney wasn't looking at the whole parameter. If the person would have listened to me, they would have still been in their house. It would have cost them a lot of money, but we could have worked around it and made it work. So we have to believe in what we're doing. I was in a sales call. My wife turned 65 at the 1st of June this year, and in the United States, the insurance that we're on stops covering her at that age. She has to go on a government thing. I tell you what, I personally, I don't want to be involved in, I don't want anything from the government. You may be different. That's your prerogative. But we were on a call. There's an insurance agent, and he was selling us junk insurance. There was one component that met a need, and it was actually free. It was an add-on. And so it's like, yes, let's do that. There was a hospitalization that, should she have to go in the hospital, it probably be worth the $33 a month, because you can easily in the United States rack up large amounts of money. But then there was these other two, and the guy was talking about this huge payout. He was making it sound like all, and I'm like, stop for just a moment. And the thing that it gets to me, which I'm talking about today, is he was trying to sell this as a great benefit. The total benefit that could be paid was $5,000. Now, I don't mean to be arrogant or anything, but $5,000 is not a lot of money. And I can write a check for $5,000 if I need to. So it's like, why would I pay this insurance premium every month so that if something happens, the event outlined in the insurance policy will pay $5,000? It doesn't make sense to me. And yet he, about 3 times before I finally got him, shut up, get off this subject. I'm not going to buy this. And so I come back to, in what I want to talk to you about today, is, do we have a belief system in what we sell? Now, I have a life insurance license, and I set up what's called private family banks, or if somebody just wants a term policy life, I'll sell them what they will. But I sit down and I believe in what I put together because I've used it. It's the transformation of our life, of where we were in a negative net worth to where we're at today. This particular way of doing things was paramount in our transition. So I became an agent to sell this. I believe in it. We have 6 of these set up within our own personal life. I believe it. I can sit and I can talk to somebody and I can share with them, and I can even take the rejection if I don't want it. I can understand that because you have to be able to understand the numbers. But I I don't ever try to press a sell. It's like, if your objectives is this is how this product will work, I'll sell it to you. And so I've lost sales in it because somebody else comes and promises something, and I try to tell them that that's not how it works. You need to look at this, and this, because I believe in what I do. I have no problem presenting what I do to somebody. Now, within the context of what I do, there's these junk add-on products and they don't pay. They're not worth the premium. I could make a commission on it, but I can't sit and look in your face and tell you with conviction, yes, this is a smart choice. So one of the things that people ask about predominantly, because I'm dealing with adults, is there a way to insure in case something happens to my child? And I said, yes. I'll tell them, yes, there is a product. It's an add-on rider to what I sell, and it will cover your children for up to, say, like $15,000 or $20,000, something like that. And this will be the amount of the premium on it. If I were to sell it, I would make a commission off of it, but I don't believe in it. Statistically, a child dying is extraordinarily low in the United States of America. Do children die? Absolutely. It's a horrible thing. But all it's going to pay out is $15,000, maybe $20,000. And most likely your child will live beyond 18. I said, I can put it on if you want to, but my recommendation is don't do it. Self-insure on it. Make sure you have enough money that if a child dies, you can pay for the funeral. But if you want it, I'll do it. But I just want you to know, mathematically, it doesn't make sense. Very few of these policies pay out. There's another policy. It's called accidental death and dismemberment. Again, I call these junk policies. They're very, very cheap. Why are they very, very cheap? Because they don't pay out. And when I was in finance, we sold these things. I could insure somebody from 18 years old to age 65 for like $250, and we got 50% of it as a commission. So for $125, the insurance company is going to be at risk for the $5,000 payout, but make money, pay their employees, have a profit, and it just doesn't make sense. In all the years that I sold it while I was in finance, and I hated selling it, we had one policy payout, and the majority of them were canceled. In fact, within our office, we made a joke that in order to get one of these policies to pay out, you had to die on Wednesday between the hours of 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. by something falling out of the sky and hitting you. I mean, there was just so many exclusions, but people bought them because they were cheap. But you and I in our business, and I've talked about it before, that integrity has got to be a critical component of our ability to make money. I don't believe, now you can have your philosophy on it, but I don't believe that making money is the ultimate goal. In God's system, when I believe what I'm doing more than what I'm facing, then I will always have enough. Zig Ziglar said that if you make sure that everybody has what they need, you'll always have what you need. It's a principle, it's a spiritual law. I've seen it work that if we will conduct our lives in integrity, if we will sell, and whatever from something that we fully believe in. I remember I was in Kisumu, Kenya, or Kakamega, Kenya, and I was riding with a pastor, and he was telling me a story about something that went out on his car, and he fixed it. I asked him, I said, how'd you know how to fix it? Because I can't fix a car. So it amazes me when people know how to fix a car. I mean, you can probably fix your car, but I just don't know how. It's not my skill set. And he says, well, he says, you have to learn. He says, here where we live, they will tell you you need a new carburetor or whatever. They'll show you the new carburetor, but if you don't know how to look at it after they put it in, they will put in a used carburetor but charge you the new price. He says you end up being forced to learn how to do things because you're going to get ripped off if you take it to a dealer, or not a dealer, but a mechanic. And so it becomes that the mechanic becomes very good at lying and telling you what they're going to do, but because money is more important for livelihood, they're going to lie and do secondhand work and get the unaware buyer to uh, to buy. I remember when I started off in the financial realm, and I was on my. I remember when I was starting off on my own in business and as an independent contractor, and I went to a company and they were going through training, and I had to, they were the professionals, I was the newbie. And so I brought a client to them and they were selling them. And every time the professionals would ask them a question, they would look at me to explain it to them. And after the meeting, they said, and this was after 2 or 3 times it happened, the trainers told me, you have a very high confidence ratio of the people that you bring to us. They believe you, and they believe. I said, it's because I do what's right for people. I don't make or try to sell people into things that I know is sub what they want. It's going to fit what their mold. And if there is a problem with it, I tell them, because there is no perfect product. Even on the products that I present to people, I tell them, here's the good, here's the bad, here's the ugly. These are the dynamics that we have to work with. Now, this product won't fit what you need here, but it fits these areas. And so you just have to understand that. And so in doing that, I've built a reputation of integrity that people trust me. People come to me all the times with questions that they're fielding in their life because they know I will tell them the truth. Now, there's sometimes people will come to me and ask me a question on a subject, and I'll say, I'll be honest with you, I don't know the answer to this. This is not a subject that I'm versed in, but I know somebody that will give you a fair and honest answer. And here's their number. You might want to call them. But build integrity in your life. Believe in what you're doing more than you believe the obstacles that come your way that try to hinder you from doing your business. Stay strong, stay confident, and your faith in what you're doing will bring you through. Thank you again for joining us this week in Business, Money, and Christianity, a financial podcast from a faith perspective. I look forward to seeing you next week in another one of our live episodes. And I hope you're getting something out of this. Remember to like, make a comment, do something, subscribe, so our algorithms get going more. And we really appreciate that. You have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.